I were to make the perfect scuba diving mask, what would it look like? Hi, all of you awesome scuba divers out there. Welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel, your favorite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. And welcome to Ask Mark, our scuba diving Q&A, where I'm Mark, a former dive instructor, doing my best to answer your scuba diving questions. So if you do have any questions, pop them down in the comments. Use that Ask Mark hashtag in your comment to get it featured in an up and coming video, and I'll do my best to type out an answer before that. But today I'm answering a question from Ian all about designing the perfect dive mask. So Ian Jones says, if you were designing an ideal mask for recreational divers, what features would you put in it and why? Which is quite an interesting question and would probably have a different answer depending on who you ask. And even for myself, a perfect dive mask for me would probably look a bit different to like what would sell well on a shelf, because I'm probably going to value different things over what the general diving public is going to value when they're looking for a new dive mask, because it's a very personal thing. And yeah, I've been in the industry a certain amount of time, so now I value slightly different things to when I first learned to dive. So the first thing that I would value is quite a big mask. A lot of masks nowadays, we're seeing them quite small, and in most of the blurb, the descriptions, you'll often see low volume, which is fine if you're like a free diver and you've got a limited amount of gas coming down with you to relieve that squeeze. But as scuba divers, we've got a whole cylinder of gas on our back to equalize that squeeze. So I'm not too fussed about a big framed mask. It's not common where if there's half an inch in front of my eyes, that's if someone kicks their fin in front of their face, it's rare that I'm that close to their fin or whatever it is. I'd prefer a big mask to let lots of light in and big glass in the front. I would like a really big lens, like the retro square lenses. I find myself being more attracted to that kind of style nowadays, because practically when you're in the water, you can see everything in front of you, and the size isn't an issue. It's not going to drag you down because it's so heavy or anything. It's more about letting light in and be able to see more. I'm also not adverse to peripheral side windows. I know some divers don't get on with them. I've dived a mask before, which I think was also a Mares that had a lot. I think it was 8, but I can't remember. It basically had the side windows, the front windows. It had some down at the bottom so that you could read your dive computer more easily, and some at the top as well so that you could see upwards. But because they were all at slightly different angles, and I think there was frame between them, just diving with them, every time you moved your head, it was like that view that they put in monster movies at the monster's POV, and it shows all the different angles all at the same time, and it just hurt my eyes. I only tried it in the swimming pool, so you've got all of the tiles, but yeah, watching them go past at different angles and different speeds, yeah, really my brain couldn't cope with that. But just peripheral windows, I'm okay with that. You can see a bit more out to the side. You can see if your buddy is just there, or if you're in overhead environment or something, you can see if you're getting a bit too close to whatever it is. I'm okay with that, but not too many windows. As far as glass itself, standard tempered glass. I'm not adverse to optical grade glass, but keep the mirrors and the tinted lenses. I've never been that amazed by them. They certainly have their place. If it's the UV protective ones, like sunglasses, and you dive in very bright conditions, yeah, fine. It's protecting your eyes from harmful UV rays. We don't get too many of them here in the UK. So I'm okay with just tempered glass lenses. Something that I don't have to worry about scratching with some basic maintenance, or trying to look at what's the best defog treatment or something that's not going to affect these treated lenses. It's just standard tempered glass is fine with me. Maybe optical grade, you could convince me, but yeah, nothing mirrored or anything fancy. A framed design, something with a frame, but more specifically a frame that you can disassemble. The best one that I've seen recently is the 𝐼𝐻𝐻. I did a video on it recently, and the name eludes me at the moment, but you could disassemble it without any tools. That's useful, especially as like a professional diver and anyone who spends a lot of time in and around swimming pools, because that warm, humid environment is just begging for mold to grow. It grows between the silicone and the glass, where the moisture just gets trapped inside and the mold grows. Even if it's like chlorinated water or whatever, it doesn't matter, it's still going to grow. So something that you can disassemble, you can get access to those little cracks and give it a clean. That's why a lot of professional divers use a black skirted mask, because even if the mold does grow, you can't see it. I don't think I've heard of anyone getting ill from mold in their mask, but it doesn't look good. So yeah, something you can disassemble. It also has the added benefit of a lot of masks that you can disassemble. You can swap the lenses for prescription lenses. So in the future, if my eyesight begins to fail and I need prescription lenses, you can get the less expensive, like off-the-shelf prescription lenses that do some basic correction, which is a lot cheaper and a lot easier to change than getting like really complicated prescription lenses. But yeah, it just gives you that that like sort of optional adjustability. And if you do have a complicated prescription, you can have it fitted to that like blank lens, and then if those do like not wear out, but you do need a different prescription, you can just get a new set of blanks as opposed to a completely new mask. A frame is also beneficial in that the mask buckle can attach directly onto the frame instead of the skirt. I know attaching it to the skirt gives you some flexibility. However, I have seen some masks, granted not a lot, but some masks, the silicone does rip and there's no like gluing it back together. You just have to replace either the entire skirt or the entire mask, unfortunately, depending on whether you can disassemble that mask and get replacement parts. So attaching the buckle directly onto the frame is quite a big sort of point for me. The buckles themselves, something simple with like a single large button. I don't like too many moving parts or like small fiddly buttons, because if you're using clunky gloves, you just don't feel them. I quite liked the like pivot style switch, because you can just push it, adjust it, and then once it's at the correct length, you can use electrical tape to stick it in place, so you cannot like accidentally bump it and then you have to readjust it. So just a nice simple buckle is fine. The actual mask strap, silicone is okay. It's okay until it isn't, if that makes sense. Silicone, if you get a nick or a cut in it and then you put any kind of tension on it, it can just rip in half really easily. It's also quite sticky, so it grabs onto your hair. It's okay if you're diving with a hood, but if you're not, if you're diving somewhere warm and you've got long hair, one of the main problems, especially the ratchet style adjustments, is that your hair gets tangled up in them. So I am moving over to these like elastic fabric straps. And granted, I know that elasticity isn't going to last forever. However, one, if it gets a little nick in it, it's not going to rip all the way through. And once it does like stretch its maximum, and if that is beyond the amount that you can adjust it, then fine, you replace the strap. But they are fairly universal. They've got the little hook that just attaches onto that barrel, and yeah, it's pretty easy to swap them over, and a lot less fiddly than trying to thread it through the ratchet mechanism. The skirt itself, probably black, but I know that people will want a clear skirt, but black is just nice and easy, and it doesn't discolor. Colorless, transparent skirts just discolor especially if you leave them out in the light, the UV light, it turns them a kind of a brown kind of color and they harden. It's not nice. Whereas the black, it still looks relatively new. But yeah, as far as like design, there's a few different designs or a few mask skirt technologies that fit my face. Something with a dual thickness. So this one is the best like representation of that. This is from Scuba Pro, and you have like almost a ribbed texture to it. So you get the thicker sections that maintain the shape of the mask, so the whole thing isn't just kind of floppy on your face, but the thinner sections between them allow that skirt to change shape around different face shapes and seal more effectively. So something like that. This one from Atomic Aquatics is quite good as well, because they've got a very soft sealing surface right against the your actual face, and then the rest of the the silicone is a bit tougher, so it maintains the shape of the mask. Otherwise, I wouldn't worry about like fancy gimmicky, no, I'd say gimmicky things, but things like some masks, you don't see them too many, but they used to be relatively prevalent, where you'd get a valve just in front of or just below your nostrils, so any water in your mask, you blow out through your nose and it pushes the water out of the bottom through that little one-way valve. Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way for one of them. They were quite big and bulky, and it's just something else to fail. Decent sized nose pocket, something that you can reach with gloves, so the frame can't get in the way of it, because bear in mind you've got the second stage in front of your mouth, and if you're wearing clunky gloves and you're trying to get in, there's a limited amount of space, and you do need enough space for different nose sizes, so something that you can really fit in, as well as over the brow. Plenty of space up here is quite important, because a lot of divers have that problem with masks, that it pushes into their brow. Mounting points for like action cameras, I'm not too fussed about. I've never seen particularly good footage from that, mainly because the bubbles come up in front of your face, unless you're physically swimming forwards. Yeah, if you're just sort of sitting still, the bubbles tend to go in front of the lens, and it's not a very stable mounting point. So unless it's got some proper stabilization in the camera itself, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Otherwise, that's probably it. Just a solid mask that's going to that can take a decent drop, something you can disassemble to clean it, pretty standard glass lenses in the front, and like really stripped down and basic, because the more like finesse and fiddly little bits, it's just more things. It's probably because I've seen masks come back and the ones that fail, and yeah, a lot of the time it's like the buckle or the silicone, because silicone, yeah, it's once it rips, and that's it. There's not much that you can do. But yeah, something nice and simple. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be the most popular mask on dive shelves. It's ultimately it comes down to fit. I think enough like new divers and of course existing divers know that it's the fit more than the look and the style of the mask. I do know plenty of divers who have bought the mask just for the style and then just hope it fits. Like 3 of the people that I was on my foundational course all had the same mask with the like carbon fiber detailing on it, and they all came out of the pool session with the exact same red triangle on their forehead, because they bought the mask because it looked cool and it had like red tinted lenses. My backup mask would probably look something different. It would be a frameless design so that it packs quite small inside of a pocket. It doesn't, if something's really big and bulky, you don't want that in your pocket. So yeah, my backup mask would be quite thin, whereas my primary mask would be a fairly large thing. But hey, what would you say? How would you answer that question? What would you look for in a diving mask? Let us know down in the comment section what's a really important feature for you. And if you have any questions, by all means pop them down in the comment section. Remember to use that @AskMark hashtag and it gets it featured in an up and coming video. Otherwise, remember to like, share, subscribe, do all that good social media stuff. Thank you for watching everybody, and of course, safe diving.